Example 4. Solve the inequality x squared minus 6x is greater than negative 9. All right, first thing we need to do, okay, is notice that this is a quadratic inequality. You got an inequality symbol, greater than, and the highest power of x in the whole thing is the second power. So this is a quadratic inequality, okay. We need to go ahead and rewrite our inequality so that one side is 0. Okay, so the easiest way to accomplish this is to just add 9 to both sides. Okay, so we're going to get x squared minus 6x plus 9 is greater than 0. Okay, so going forward, that will be the inequality that we're working with. Okay, all right, so now we need to go ahead and make our rough sketch of our parabola, which is going to be this side of the inequality. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and have f of x equal x squared minus 6x plus 9. Okay, again, we're going to make our rough sketch by determining whether the parabola opens up or down, and then by finding the x-intercepts. Okay, all right, so looking at our quadratic here, okay, a is 1, b is negative 6, c is positive 9, okay? So the a value, the number in front of x is positive, or sorry, the number in front of x squared is positive. So this guy's going to open up, okay? So now we need to go and find the x-intercepts, okay? So for the x-intercepts, we need to set the y value equal to 0, okay? So remember, the f of x, that's our y, okay? So we're going to end up with 0 equals x squared minus 6x plus 9, okay? The easiest thing here to do is probably to factor this guy, okay? But again, you could use the quadratic formula, okay? So let's go ahead and try to factor this, okay? Let's see, the x squared breaks down into x times x, and then 9 breaks down into 3 and 3, okay? And if you play with the signs here, they should both be negative, okay? So you can check yourself here, multiply it back out, you should get what you started with, okay? So you're going to get x squared minus 3x, and then minus 3x, those combine to give you the minus 6x, and then negative times negative is positive, 3 times 3 is 9, okay? All right, so it is factored. If you did the quadratic formula, you should get the same answer, okay? We're going to take each factor. Notice that they're the same, okay? So you only need to take one of the factors and set it equal to 0 and solve, okay? And so you get that your x-intercept, you get one x-intercept. You have an x-intercept at 3, okay? That's the only x-intercept, okay? All right, so now we're ready to make our rough sketch of the parabola. Okay, so I'm going to put my x-axis on here. Okay, I've only got one x-intercept at 3. Okay, and we know the parabola opens upward. Okay, so it's going to look something like this. Okay, had you calculated the vertex, you would have gotten this point as the vertex. Okay, but that's our rough sketch of what this parabola looks like. Okay, so now we need to figure out if we need to look above or below the x-axis, okay, to solve the inequality. Okay, so going back to our box up here, okay, remember this is our f of x, okay, that's our f of x, okay. We're trying to figure out when f of x is greater than 0, so f of x is the same thing as y. We want to know when our y values are strictly greater than 0, okay. So you have positive y values when you are above the x-axis, okay. So we'll go ahead and trace out our part of the parabola that we need, okay. So there you go. At first glance, it looks like the entire parabola is above the x-axis, okay. But remember, this point, the vertex here, is sitting on the x-axis. This point is 3, 0, okay. So when you're writing down your solution set, remember, the y value cannot be 0. The y value has to be strictly bigger than 0, okay? So the entire parabola is above the x-axis, except for this one point that sits on the x-axis, okay? So when you write down your solution set, you cannot include x equals 3 because it has a y value equal to 0, okay? So you're going to have to break this up into 2 intervals, okay? Everything to the left of 3. So remember, you want to use interval notation and you want to write down x values. Okay, so remember, x values over here, okay, are going to be anything less than 3. Anything less than 3. So this segment is going to be from -infinity to +3. Okay, and remember, we don't want to include 3 because its y value is 0. Okay, and then on the right side of 3, okay, this segment of the parabola is above the x-axis, so you want to include that. Write down the x values that correspond to this segment, okay? It's going to be any x value bigger than 3, okay? So we're going to write down union 3 to infinity, okay? And remember, this is saying basically all real numbers, any x value will work and make this a true statement. It's except x equals 3, okay? There's your solution set.